All right. So today's lesson is about a plant and an animal cell. This is a science topic, specifically biology. So I'm just gonna get right to it. So, my first objective is I want you to be in a position to identify the different parts of either an animal cell or a plant cell. So, this diagram here is a diagram showing our animal cell. So, you need to be able, you can either be given an exam, the drawing, and you're expected to label all the parts, or you can be asked to draw and label it. So, you need to be in a position to understand that. So, that's the first objective that I'm gonna tackle. So, if you take a look at this animal cell over here. The first part here is our cell membrane, followed by our nucleus. If you take a look at this nucleus, as you can see here, inside we have our nucleolus, our nuclear membrane, and our DNA material. So you need to be in a position to be able to label all of this. Then we have the space over here, which is called the cytoplasm. And then we have things like this. This is what we call the mitochondria. So this is the structure of an animal cell. Now going to a plant cell, the first outer layer here is called the cell wall, followed by the cell membrane. Then we have the similar structure here called the mitochondria. And then we do have the vacuole, this big shape here is our vacuole. We do have our nucleus. And then we have this space over here, our cytoplasm, and this smaller things, which are our chloroplasts. So you need to be able to label this. Moving on, you need to be in a position to list all the parts of a cell that are present in both an animal and a plant cell. I get it. So both an animal and a plant cell have what you call a cell membrane, a cytoplasm, the nucleus, the mitochondria, and our ribosomes. If you take a look at this, both of them, they do have the cell membrane. They both have a nucleus. I get it. They both have a cytoplasm. They both have a mitochondria, and they also have what you call the ribosomes. Okay. Now, also, you must be in a position to state the difference between a plant cell and an animal cell. Okay, so an animal cell does not have a chloroplast, hyaline chloroplast, does not have a vacuole, does not have a cell wall, and it has an irregular shape. But a plant cell has chloroplast, has a vacuole, has a cell wall, and has a regular shape. Okay, moving on, this is the most important part, understanding the cell parts and their function. So I'm going to start with the cell membrane. So the cell membrane, it controls substances that are either entering or leaving the cell. Whatever enters or leaves the cell is controlled by the cell membrane. Now, the most important thing about the cell membrane that you need to understand is that it's selectively permeable, meaning that it doesn't allow everything in or out. So small molecules like water, sugars, amino acids, mineral ions, they can enter or leave the cell through that cell membrane or through its microscopic pores. Again, but large molecules and organelles that are inside the cell cannot pass through those pores because they are just too big. Again, then we have the cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is basically a place where chemical reactions are taking place inside the cell. It's that space. So chemical reactions are taking place where? In the cytoplasm. So basically, the cytoplasm consists of water and dissolved substances. Then we have chloroplast. Chloroplast basically it manufactures glucose for the cell and it contains chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is that green pigment that is responsible for photosynthesis. Then we have the vacuole. The vacuole is that big sac. It actually stores sugar, salts, pigments, and water. That's the vacuole. So the membrane around the vacuole is called a tonoplast, and that tonoplast is selectively permeable. We have the ribosomes. This is where proteins are made or amino acids are assembled to make or form proteins. So proteins are made here, again, or amino acids are assembled here. Then the cell wall just gives the cell a strong and a rigid structure. Okay, so it has large pores in it for substances to pass through, and unlike the cell membrane, it is freely permeable. Then we have the nucleus. The nucleus it controls all activities that are taking place inside the cell. Again, so basically the nucleus it has the genetic material, which is the DNA. Okay, and it has all the instructions that will control all the cellular activities that are taking place. And then lastly, we do have the mitochondria, which is the site where respiration takes place. This is just basically a summary. You need to be understand what the definition of a cell, a tissue, an organ, a system, and an organism. So that's basically this whole topic. We are done with this topic. Thank you very much for your time.